No, have to make better choices sometimes, that you can't always make it work the way you think it does. So you just have to let go and say, you know what, it's not my job to control that.
Yeah, I like the new cat. The old cat did not like the new cat.
The old cat has tenure, so
Yep. So the new cat had to go bye-bye.
yes.
And then
And
all the electronic stuff went poof. It's not a good thing.
for those just catching up on our show, sorry, you missed the main part of the conversation.
Oh, a really fun question to ask yourself today. Are you worthy of the partner that you want? Well, another way to look at it is, would you date yourself?
Mm-hmm.
That's always a fun way to look at dating, because we're always thinking about, well, who would you want to date? And would they want to date you? Because it's really a two-way street, right, Barry?
Yep, we'll get into it. So,
Yep.
welcome.
We'd love to welcome you to the new streamingnetwork.com, WGSN-DB Going Solo Network, radio, TV, and podcast #1 internet singles talk network. And this is Let's Talk Dating with Christine and Barry. Hi, Barry.
Hi, Christine. So, good topic today.
I think this is going to be a really fun topic. So, thinking about, what does the word worthy mean?
Mm-hmm.
I think feeling worthy is very important. Worthy of the partner that you want. Do you feel valuable? Do you feel smart enough? That's a really important thing, because often we don't feel enough. We don't feel smart enough, lovable enough, pretty enough, skinny enough, tall enough. We just don't feel enough of one or a lot of things. And if you don't feel enough, you're going to not feel ready or confident to go sitting across the table from somebody, or to talk to somebody across the room, or to even write to them to get ready to be dating somebody, or feeling like you could even talk to them about who you are and what you're looking for, right?
Mm-hmm. It is the enough stuff, as what we're putting
Enough.
it. It's so much that we feel like, in a way, we're tipping the scales against ourselves, about worthiness. And because the thing is, there's this feeling for most people that if they felt too confident, they'd be in the ego and be egomaniacal, or too bossy, or too whatever it is. So they got to play down that role. Whereas the reality is, and it's going to be hard when we talk about in the show, is really about, how do you own who you really are authentically, and value that, so that when you do go out and date, you don't settle for less than you deserve.
Yeah, the thing when you said enough, I think one of the characters I always think of is Eeyore. I think Eeyore never felt enough.
Mm-hmm.
He always was feeling very inadequate. And we've talked a number of times on this show about how self-confidence is very sexy to both sexes. They notice when somebody walks in the room and feels comfortable in their skin. They feel comfortable in the room. They feel confident that they belong there, that they will make a good impression, that they can talk to people, that people will want to talk to them. And it's not an arrogance ever. It's just I feel good here. I feel good about who I am. I feel good about that I belong in this room. I feel belong in my skin. I feel belong in this world. I feel like I have things to contribute. I feel like I want to contribute to other people. I feel like they will want to talk to me about things. I'll want to talk to them about things. I have things to teach them. I have things that they'll teach me, that the world is an important place, an interesting place, that I'm interesting and I'm interested in learning about people. There's just an energy about that. And I think that that's the kind of person that feels worthy to be here. And that's what really helps you feel worthy of the partner that you're looking for.
Yeah, this whole thing about worthiness you mentioned at the beginning, which I want to really get into, and it's because of the title too. We have this bad habit of thinking that our external experience and our view of ourselves in the mirror has impact on our worthiness. And to be blunt and transparent, nothing changes our worthiness, regardless of what we think does or doesn't, because we are worthy because of the fact we're here. Our worthiness is not based upon our bank accounts or a car we drive or the clothes we wear or the color of our skin or our height or our sexuality or any of that sort of thing. Our worthiness is simply the fact that we are here. So when we talk about you're worthy to have a partner you want, it comes down to the decision you make versus, well, when I'm worthy, then I can have. It's like, no, there's no getting there. You already are there. So to be blunt, let that go.
I think worthiness is definitely one of those inside jobs.
Yeah. But it's more about remembering it versus trying to find it.
Yeah.
You know?
So looking at how do you not feel worthy? Because often there's people that don't feel worthy. And what is it that you don't feel worthy about? Do you not feel like you have enough education? Well, what could you do about that? Would you like to take a class? Would you like to learn more about what's happening in the news? Would you like to learn more about what's happening in your neighborhood? Would you like to learn more about what's happening with the people in your area? Would you like to learn more about your culture? Would you like to learn more about children or animals? If you feel uneducated, that when you go into a conversation with people and they're talking about things you don't know about, ask them, gosh, and say out loud, I don't know much about that. Would you tell me more about that? Or when things pop up on your phone, Apple News pops up on my phone all the time about stuff. And I'm like, oh, I know about that. Oh, I don't know about that.
Mm-hmm.
And you could even, it's constant. It's like, oh, I want to learn more about that. Then you can say, now I have a conversation starter with the next person that I talk to. Did you know about that? Like yesterday, oh my gosh, they caught the guy that had started the fires in the Palisades area. Who knew that? I didn't even know that they hadn't caught the guy. I didn't even looked at that. Now they had, and it was interesting to talk to people. Did you know? Because who knew? I didn't even know to look before that they hadn't caught the person. So there's always something new to look at the news. My point is I look at the news at 6 o'clock to 7 o'clock every day if I'm not on a call, because I think there must be something that happened today that I need to know, that I might need to ask somebody about or tell somebody. That's my news time. If there's something else that pops up during the day, but I make sure I find out between 6 and 7 every day in case there's something I need to talk to somebody about. So if you need to have that in your life, then make sure you have a regular time that you know about the news. If you have like a PBS thing that you want to know in the morning, if you need to know about something during the day, then make sure you've set aside a time if that's important to you, or you need to know something that you're going to listen to on the radio in your car, because I think it's important to have some little snippet of the local news or the world news, because I think sticking your head in the sand would be silly. And I also think it's important to have a little snippet of news from both sides of the political aisle, even if you totally disagree with them, because if you're going to disagree with them, at least hear what their side is. I think it's really important, because then you really know why you disagree with them, because you heard part of their side.
Right. I mean, I agree with what you said, and we're going to just do one little switch, because you said it's at the beginning of it, and I want to make sure that I make this point again. Because, as I said before, worthiness is a default. It's who we are. What you're talking about is how do you honor the worthiness inside? And I'll say it this way intentionally, because sometimes you think, well, when I get the right weight, when I get the right thing, whatever that thing is, then I'll be worthy. It's like, no, you already are worthy. Yeah. However, you may not feel worthy, or you may not feel deserving of the worthiness that you are. And this is I know it's a little wordplay, but the reality is we oftentimes don't carry around our best energy. Like you're saying, you better be confident walking into a room. It's because we feel less than we think we should feel. Again, nothing to do with worthiness. That's just the way we feel. And so if you feel that you want to be attracting a partner who's really in shape and works out, are you sitting on the couch every day, or are you going to work out? Not saying you do it for them, but you're doing it for yourself, because the reality is you start doing these things for yourself, like listening to the news or working out those things. The reality is you'll feel better about yourself. So forget somebody else in that sense, like you're doing it as your own benefit. But the side benefit is you feel more aligned to the person you're looking to attract, because a lot of times what we want is the things that we really want for ourselves. I want to eat better. I want to work out more. I want to meditate more. I want to go hiking more. I want to be more social. All these things we want to do, we tend to put on the person we want to have, because we're not doing it for ourselves yet. So in a sense, you can use that prospective partner you want to have as a motivation for your own life. So you start feeling more full and more whole, more fulfilled. And then you recognize, oh, I'm already worthy, but now I'm enjoying that value of myself. It's like having that honest look in the mirror and going, yes, I deserve.
Such a good point. One of the questions on the questionnaire that people fill out when they want to have their complimentary conversation with me is, what difference do you think it would make if you were in a relationship? And they go, oh, I would exercise more. Oh, I would eat better. Oh, I would go out more. Oh, it would be more fun. So the conversation we have then when we talk is, what could you be doing now
Right.
that you would now be doing that? What kind of exercise could you do now? What kind of activities could you join now? How could you be eating better now so that you would now feel better about yourself and that you would now participate in the kind of activities where that person might be there? Because as you said, we often put it off, waiting till we meet the person to then go do it. But if you
Right.
want to meet a person that's already doing that, because if you keep waiting for the person to go hiking with or cooking better with, they're not doing that either. They're waiting for you sitting at home on their couch.
Yeah.
So if you want to meet somebody to go hiking with, go hiking because they're out hiking. It is so counterintuitive, right, Barry? We don't think it that way. We think, oh, I'm going to meet them and then we're going to go hiking together. But it's funny how when we point out, go hiking because they're out hiking and then you'll meet them out hiking. And we all kind of go, oh, duh, because we don't think about that ahead of time.
No, it's like we're caught up in the game of when they show up, then I will, which is, it's like, come on, first of all, if they're not going to show up for a couple of years because you're doing things, they're doing things, whatever it's going to be, you spend 2 years waiting for them.
Yeah.
It's like, do the things that motivate you. Again, being self-confident a lot of times comes from having a life that you enjoy being in. So do things that make you feel good about your life. So if it is hiking or biking, and yes, the odds of meeting the person you want to do that with tends to do the things you're already doing, so why not do the things anyway? Then you'll meet them, sort of thing. If that makes any sense. But that's the thing that's so powerful. And the reminder is that it's like living your life fully on your own terms and becoming really whole in who you are. That's what is the cornerstone of your own self-confidence and self-trust. So you become more noticeable, more attractive, and you'll tend to meet the person you're looking to be with.
It's really funny too, because I'm now coaching 2 men who have started taking music lessons, and one's taking violin lessons and one's taking saxophone lessons. And the saxophone lesson has now joined a band. And it's funny because they now have these things to talk about on dates. And they go, wow, I feel even more interesting on my dates. And I'm finding that the women I'm dating are even more interested in me, and they're more interesting women that I'm dating, which is the whole point of being more interesting and to date more interesting people. Because the more interesting you are, you seem to attract more interesting people. And I tell them that in the beginning. And now that they're experiencing it, they're like, oh, this is what you said. I went,
And I want to throw things back at a whole different angle for a second, just to get people to recognize this. And this is going to be hard for some people to accept, because one of the things I've had to work on myself is the reality is that everybody on the planet is the same in terms of we're all human, we're all active in the world, we're all the same relationship with spirit, we're going to call that all different things. So in theory, based on that simple premise, we could be worthy of any partner we wanted on the planet, no matter what. The key qualities you mentioned already is, how do you prepare for them? How do you change your life? How do you live your life in a way that becomes more noticeable, not necessarily to them, but to somebody of that caliber, that quality? Because if we are taking care of ourselves and living a life that's really whole and wonderful, some partner who wants to come to us who doesn't have those things won't be attracted to us either. So it's both ways. So if you want to make sure you're raising your dating attractiveness, so to speak, what can you do to raise that bar? Yes, it may be exercising, but it also might be, as you said, being interesting, doing things that are important. Maybe it's making a difference. Maybe it's being a larger voice in your community. Maybe it's being nice to kids or going to work in an animal shelter. It could be so many different things you can do that raise the quality of your life to make you more noticeable and striking to those people who are looking for you as well. And it's that interesting dance of basically not waiting until they show up, but doing things now before you get there, before they show up.
So important to become even more interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I think that that helps us feel more worthy. I think that the worthiness quotient gets expanded when we feel more interesting.
Yeah.
I think the interesting part of us, which covers lots of categories, our knowledge, our physical ability, our things that we can talk about, our things that we can do, our things that we can teach people, our things that we can be involved with. And the more that we keep exploring out in the world is the part that I feel keeps adding to our, I'm going to change the worthy word, I'm going to add to it to value. We feel even more valuable, and that we want to be out with people that feel valuable to us, that they feel like a valuable person and they add value to our life.
Yeah.
But we need to feel valuable first so that we now want to be with people that feel of value to us. And I think that that's because they feel that they add value to the world. I think that that's a big piece of it, that when these two men are learning to play instruments, which now they feel like they're making beautiful music instead of scratchy music. It was so funny. He said, I now don't make screechy sounds with my violin. I've now figured out how to make beautiful music with the violin. He goes, I now can open the window so the neighbors can hear what I'm playing, because for a long time I kept the window shut.
Mm-hmm.
It was such a fun little touchstone that he says, I would be proud to play it for somebody, which was such a sweet thing for him to say.
Yeah.
That he says, I could see how I was feeling more worthy. And he says, and it was fun to talk about it with somebody. I loved that I could hear, because this when we actually talk on Zoom, I could see the pride in his face when he was talking about it. He's also started taking line dancing lessons. He said, and at the beginning he said, I felt like I had two left feet, and now I feel like I'm down to one left foot. And I thought that was, I love how they talk about this, because I'm watching them bloom about this. And they were not sure about doing these things, but they're much more game when I say, just go try it. If you hate it, stop. But they've both really blossomed about doing these things. And they've used these words with me. It's been really fun.
I love it.
Yeah.
I had another thought pending, but we're getting ready for the commercial break. So you want to do an intro and then we'll get to the commercial.
So if you'd like to feel more worthy and valuable, I'd be so happy to talk to you. And the way to do that is to go to my website, which is www.theperfectcatch.com. Scroll to the middle of the page to the What's Holding You Back from Love questionnaire and click on that. And you will have 10 brief questions, as I mentioned, that talk about where you are now and where you'd like to be. And then you get access to my calendar that you get to schedule a complimentary conversation with me at your convenience. And then we'll talk about for free about where you are and where you'd like to be, and see if I can give you some tools. You could also send me an email at Christine@theperfectcatch.com. And how would people reach you, Barry?
Similar to Christine, I have a website you can go to, which is my name, BarrySelby.com, easy to remember. And on the homepage of my website, on the top, there is a button that says Let's Chat. If you click on that, similar to Christine, I have an application form and a calendar link so you can get on my calendar. We can have a 20-minute conversation that's a gift from me to you. And frankly, it's a chance for us to really get to see if we want to work together. So it's not just if you want to work with me, it's also I want to work with you, because I'm also very selective in who I want to work with, just to be transparent. So there. But basically, if you want to do that. If you want to get on my calendar, we can have a conversation, because frankly, it only works if you take action. So both Christine and myself, we offer this for a reason. Similarly, you can also send me an email on my Barry@BarrySelby.com. And if you have any questions, thoughts you want to share with me, if you want some direct support, reach out to me either way and we can talk. And we'll say about the rest at the end of the show.
And we're going to take a break for our two sponsors, the National Widowers Organization. We're so excited to have them as a brand new sponsor, and also the company that puts our podcast out there. We'll be right back with Let's Talk Dating with Christine and Barry in just a couple of minutes. Bye for now.
The National Widowers Organization is a men's grief network. Our website serves as a virtual toolbox of free resources for men coping with the death of a loved one, whether a spouse, parent, a child, or lifelong friend. Our goal is to bring men together and arm them with as much information as possible to get through a devastating time in their lives. The NWO has a team of bereavement specialists and fellow widowers to help support you. You are not alone. For more info, go to nationalwidowers.org.
Hi, thank you again for our two sponsors. And this is Let's Talk Dating with Christine and Barry. And today we're talking about, are you worthy of the partner you want?
Mm-hmm.
Wow, this is such an important topic, because if you don't feel worthy, then I'm not sure how you would get the partner that you want, because you might bypass them. You might not even go out looking, right? That would be sad.
Well, the thing is, and I talk about this in my work a lot with clients, and actually with a client right now, about feeling like you're not worthy enough of what you want. You tend to settle for less than you deserve. And you spend the whole time resenting everything. And the truth is that if you don't go for what you really want, you'll regret it and feel that self-recrimination and self-doubt and all the other stuff that gets in the way. And I will say about, people say when they find the one they want to be with, they'll settle down. Settling and down are both negative words. So why would you want to use those in your dating anyway? You want to choose up, so to speak. So this conversation is really about that, about raising the bar and raising your standards by choosing to be a better partner, so attract a better partner. And that thing of being worthy of the partner you want is really a reminder that you already are worthy. So again, what are you going to do about it to honor that worthiness, to stand at the level you live in, to choose a partner that matches you where you feel they're at your level as well?
Yeah. So how do you decide what level you are and if you need to up level at all?
Mm-hmm.
I think part of what you need to do is make out a list of who are you mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually. What are the attributes that you bring to a relationship? I think bragging in a good way is really essential. And if you have trouble doing that, which lots of women do, men often don't have as hard of a time with this, ask your best friend, ask people who really care about you, who have your back, and don't censor, don't edit, write down all the things they say. If you're widowed, write down all the things that your late spouse bragged about you, said to you, and really own them.
Yeah.
Read them out loud every day. I tell people, put it up on the mirror, read it before you brush your teeth, which most people do at least twice a day. And even if you don't believe it, if you read it out loud twice a day, every day, your brain has no filtering. It'll just remember it and believe it, because you need to own the things that are good about you, that are right about you, because once you do, you can now walk into a room and own it.
Yeah.
And we all have very different gifts. Some people are smarter about some things. Some people are better at other things. And it's not as if you're good at everything. And the things that you are good at make up for the things that you're not good at. So anybody that's listened to this has heard, I am a terrible speller. I am such a good phonetic speller. I wish there was a prize for that, because I could win the phonetic spelling bee, hands down. But I'm a terrible speller. But it's okay, because I have really good spellers in my life, but I cannot use a dictionary to save my soul. But I am a really good talker, and I'm an eloquent speaker. And it's a good thing I don't have to spell all the words I say, because I know lots more words than I can spell. And I love putting things together. I love reading manuals. But I'm okay that I'm not a good speller. I have really good spellers in my life. I just ask them how to spell words. I call the library and ask librarians how to spell stuff all the time.
You know you can
They're,
use now.
huh?
You know you can use Siri for that now.
It's yes, but it's really hard if she doesn't understand what I'm saying. That's the hard thing.
That's a whole other conversation.
It's a whole nother conversation. But yeah, it's true. Siri knows how to spell stuff. But spell check's not helpful because they don't always understand what I'm saying.
Right. But I want to say one thing, though, to that. Yes, I agree with you about getting your best friend or one of your friends to tell you what they think of you so you get some feedback.
Yeah.
The challenge for a lot of people is they go through bad relationships where there's a bad breakup, especially if that person happens to be a narcissist or some other negative Nelly, for the sake of a better word. So the thing is, you tend to start getting from them a very diminished view of yourself if you believe what they say. So one of the things you may want to do after a bad breakup, which is what we both specialize in, by the way, is really to reset and to start looking at yourself cleanly in the mirror. Because maybe you started off being the person for a long time, believing what they said about you, which was not true. And so your own value of your system and that worthiness we talked about earlier might have been battered a little bit and knocked down a bit because the other person didn't want to let you see yourself in great value. They wanted to demean you for whatever reason that was. So whilst you're single, the time between when you broke up and when you start looking at dating again is a good time to reset that barometer to see yourself clearly in the mirror as the worthy and deserving person that you really are. So when you go out and date again, you're not coming from the wounded, diminished place you left the past relationship, but from the whole renewed and restored place that you deserve to be. So when you meet somebody, they see you as you really are versus who you were during that time. If that makes sense.
That is such a good point, because when I was married the first time, I tell people I married the worst parts of my mom and dad.
Mm-hmm.
And what was really sad is I believed all the negative things he said. And my friends would all keep saying all the nice things about me, but I gave him much more credence. So I believed all the negative things he said, and I would put aside all the nice things they said. And what happened was 6 months after my divorce, I finally started tipping the scales that I went to lots of therapy, put aside the negative things that he had said about me and started really owning the things that were good about me that my friends started saying. And I started dating men who said nice things about me and started believing more of them. But that switch was very hard, and I had to make lots of conscious choices about the good things about me and not putting aside the things about me that I needed to work on, but not giving so much weight about the negative things about me. That is such a good point, Barry, because we need to really get balanced about what do we need to work on? What is just, that's who I am. It's who I am. Mm-hmm. Like we all know Christine brings a lot of stuff when she travels and she's never not going to do it. And that's just who I am. Right. And then there's lots of lovely things about me. And if you don't like them, that's okay. I like them and I'm not going to change them. So that's why this list is really helpful to say, these are all the really great things about me, and I hope you like them. And it's okay if you don't. These are lovely about me. And these are things that I hope you're just okay, benign about. And if these are things you don't like, I'm probably not going to work on them. And here's some things I could work on. If you don't like them, maybe I could work on them. And that the other person has their list too. Because boy, I really learned that with my second husband. We did so much talking about that, about tell me the things about you. And wow, I really like those. And then here's the things that, there's nothing. I'm fine with that. You're fine with that. And then here's some things, wow, could we work on those and make them okay enough? That I had never had that kind of a conversation with anybody that open and honest before. And we both found we were worthy partners for that. That was a worthy partnership that I'd never seen an example of it in my growing up life. It was really fun.
Yeah, that's magical. It's a pretty powerful place to be. Yeah. The thing is that when we go through this journey, it's oftentimes what do we learn from our past relationships? I was lucky enough, I say it now, in hindsight, the last bad breakup I had, she read me the right act. She said everything I was doing wrong. thankfully, I'd done enough work at that point in my life where I wasn't taking it like, oh, I'm destroyed, I'm bad, I'm not worthy, all this sort of stuff. I felt that for a bit, but I really got clear. She'd given me a gift because she'd given me feedback that helped me change what I was doing for a different direction. And the thing is that even though I didn't know what that was at the time, I knew I was looking for something that would answer that question that she basically put in me, which is about what was I missing, what was I not doing right. And it led me to do a lot of transformational work after that and led me to do this work I'm doing now. So the gifts that our exes give us, even when it's done in hate or upset or anger, fury even, can sometimes be actual gifts wrapped in horrendous energy. But if you clean off the crap of that and start looking at what is the gift in there and give it stepping stones and tools to move forward in life in a way that really works. And frankly, sometimes the best gifts come wrapped that way. Maybe not intentional, but the truth is when you do look for those things, first of all, that vitriol doesn't hurt you because you don't take it personally. But secondly, you see the gem within it sort of thing. So you go, that I want to work with, and you can change that. So opportunities abound.
One of the things that Alison Armstrong talks about so much is the things that we take personal that they aren't, and the things that we don't take personal that really are. And it sounds like you really learned that a lot from her.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
That's the opportunity. So it is tempting sometimes when we go through a breakup, think, oh, that's it, I'm screwed, I can never have a good relationship, everything's ruined, which is unusual. That's not unusual. People feel that way oftentimes. But when you start to recognize that the person who you broke up with had their own stuff, their own judgments, their own things that has nothing to do with you, you walk more freely from that place. But it's the inner journey. It's doing the work to heal and remember who you really are, so you can step up back to the worthiness that you have to then start over afresh, which is what I've seen people do. It means what I've done, what you've done, so we can help both our clients that way.
And think of how worthy you get to feel to say, I am worthy to do this healing. I'm worthy to do this journey to learn more and to do better for me and for the next person. That was how I felt during that whole time between my marriages. I was on a journey to learn how to do me better and to be a better partner. And then since my husband died, it was an up-leveled journey to be even more worthy. How much did I learn being married? How much did I learn becoming a widow? How much I've learned being a better coach, being a better future partner. The worthy word was so important to me. It became so front and center to me personally and professionally. This topic was so valuable to me. I really enjoyed talking about this with you today because I feel like it's very important to put this out there to the world for them to see the importance for them as a person and as a partner.
Yeah. I mean, for me, the thing I've gotten to a place now, having done all this work over the years, is in some ways I've removed myself from the mass dating circuit, so to speak. It's like I know what I want. And there are many different women out there I've met or I see online in dating apps and on social media that I respect them and I appreciate them with the distance, but I have no desire to be with them because I realize that what I'm doing for myself and where I choose to live my life works the way it works now, and I'm very happy with the way it works. So if she shows up, she's got to be additive to that, not subtractive. And it's one of the things we've got to look at in our relationship search is when we're going on dating apps or we're looking on meeting people out in the world, we've got to be willing to say, if I go with this person, does my life get better or not? And it sounds simple, and in some ways it is, but it can also be feeling like, but I'm so lonely, I want to be with someone. It's like, watch that tendency. For me personally, I went through that for a while for an initial breakup, but it's been many years now. And I love my life the way it is again. And if I meet somebody, she's got to be additive to what I'm doing and not take anything away from what I'm about, because that wouldn't be additive. That wouldn't be what's worthy of the life I want to live. And so you've got to choose for yourself, what is it I'm willing to give up for a partnership, and what I'm not willing to give up. And if you're living your life to your best ability and enjoying your life, there may not be much to give up, in which case the other person has to step up to meet that.
Yeah. What do we add to each other?
Yeah.
Yeah. What do we already have? And then what do we add to each other? What we already have, and how does that add to the other person? That's so important to have that conversation with ourselves and with the other person as we're getting to know the other person.
Yeah.
It's really an up level nowadays.
Yeah.
I think that's the up level conversation that we're going to keep having with the people we meet, and that we need to encourage our clients to have.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
This is the time to really start looking at relationships as a value-added experience for ourselves and for our lives going forward. So why would we not raise the standard of what we choose, not only for ourselves, but for our partner as well? Because we deserve that.
Value added. I like that.
Yeah.
I think that's a good tagline.
Okay, good. We can use that.
So if you're looking for value added in your personal and professional relationships, Barry and I would be happy to talk to you about that.
Yes.
So I think that's cool.
Good.
So the way to talk to me, as I mentioned, is to go to my website, which is www.theperfectcatch.com. Scroll to the middle of the page and click on the What's Holding You Back from Love questionnaire and fill it out and click on the questionnaire, and then it'll take you to my calendar, and you can schedule a complimentary conversation with me at your convenience. You can also join my mailing list, and you'll get a repeat of this podcast every week. And you can also get updated on what's going on in my life. You can also scroll to the bottom, and there's all my social media icons of Facebook and LinkedIn and Pinterest and Instagram and YouTube. And what did I miss?
You said Instagram.
I don't know, something
YouTube.
else.
YouTube.
And you'll see all the YouTube, over 250 that Barry and I have done together. And then you can also go to the top and click on my ebook. That's free. It's a bunch of dating advice. I would just love to hear what you learned from it. And also, if there's anything that I didn't include, because I will be doing a 2.0, you can also send me an email at Christine@theperfectcatch.com. And how will people get a hold of you, Barry?
Again, as mentioned at the break in the middle, you go to my website, which is my name, barryselby.com. And besides the button at the top, which takes you to my calendar and to get on my fill out an application, at the bottom of the screen, you can jump onto my email list if you wish, which basically just put your name and email in, and you get subscribed to my email list, where I send out replays of this show, plus other things I'm working on, offering and promoting and talking about, including the next round of my emotional freedom experience, which I'll be talking about another time. But get my email list, you'll find out about that. In the middle of the screen is the first of my 2 assessments that I created. They're basically relationship-related assessments. One is a relationship preparedness. Basically, are you ready for a relationship? That's the button if you click on the middle of the screen to go to the first quiz. And that will take you through a bunch of questions to really navigate and give you feedback on where you are and where you're going. But if you want to go even deeper than that, I suggest you go directly to my second quiz, which you have to actually type the link in because there isn't actually a button for it yet, which is barryselby.com/self-quiz. Which, if you could guess from the title, is a self-assessment. Basically, what is your relationship with yourself like? Because a lot of my work is really about self-centeredness first. And I mean that from a big S self, not a egotistical position. But if you go to take the quiz, you'll get a whole lot more information. It's a much deeper quiz. And also give you a downloadable PDF document, which gives you a lot of information about next steps, things you work on, with plenty of invitations to come work with me in my own work as well. Besides all of that, my website, my book is on my website too. If you go to the book page on my website, there is a great little AI generated discussion about my book, like a review basically, which gives you basically an overview of what my book is about, because I explain my book in great detail. But then you can decide if you want to buy it or not, get it from Amazon, or you get the downloadable ebook version from my website. And there's also other things on my website as well. And then on social media, you can find me at Barry Selby on most platforms. So on YouTube, on Facebook, on LinkedIn, on Pinterest, you find me as Barry Selby, and then the real Barry Selby on Instagram and Threads. Oh, and also Barry Selby on Blue Sky. That covers it, I think, all social media platforms.
And we're always here live on Thursdays at 1 o'clock and Eastern at 4 o'clock. And then you can watch us on YouTube or Roku, but you can also take us with you on a podcast platforms, right, Barry?
Yes, indeed, because we have the shows now on. If you haven't got time to look at our faces, or basically you're going somewhere you can't look at the screen of the device you're carrying, You can listen to us as an audio podcast on the regular platforms, Apple, Spotify, Amazon, etc. And you can listen to any or all of our 250 plus shows to really clarify your dating focus, perspective, and expectations. And you can really navigate through what really works for you in life. So definitely listen to our podcast, follow, subscribe, whether you're watching the videos or you're listening to us on podcasts, because frankly, we'd love the likes, but secondly, we know you're watching. So let us know.
Yes, we'd love for you to like and give us a review and share this with any of your friends that are having any challenges or questions about their dating and relationships. And we'll be back next week with another interesting subject about dating and relationships.
See you then.
Bye for now.
Bye.